All right, question number 10. It says this table shows the estimated number of internet users from 2000 to 2009. The number of users for each year is shown in millions. So these are millions of users. Step 1 of 2, we want to plot these points on the graph. So we're going to use the year and then the number of users. And if you look, this graph has the year labeled on the x-axis and then the internet users in millions on the y. So the ordered pair 2000 and 155 looks like this first corner is going to be 2000, and it jumps up from 150, and then it looks like we're counting by fives here. So 155, and it kind of shows you the order pair there. And then we're going to do 2003 and 205. So 2003 is here, and 205 relatively high up on the graph. And it shows you the ordered pair. It kind of overlaps here, so it's hard to see, but you can see 2003 and 205. And then we're going to do 2007 and 220. So here's the 2007 line, and here's 220. And then we have 2009 and 235. All right, it says draw line segment. So you get this jagged graph. All right, now we have part 2. We want to find the slope of the line segment that represents the change in internet users from 2000 to 2003. So we have 2000 and then 2003. These are the two ordered pairs we're going to use. Remember, this was X, this was Y. Generally, when you see a table, the table is set up X on the left, Y on the right. So that'll be the general rule of thumb. So the years are going to be my X values. The amount of people, internet users, are my Y values. So my Y2, which is 205, minus my Y1, which is 155, over my X2, which is 2003, over my X1, which is 2000. And we get 50 over 3. So this 50 million over 3. This will not reduce, but it does say round your answer to 2 decimal places if necessary. So we actually want to divide this up and get a decimal number. So let me pull up calculator. And I'm going to do 50 divided by 3. And we're going to get 16.67. This third 6 is going to round up to a 7. We want 2 decimal places. So 16.67. Okay, and then this last one wants us to find the slope between the first and second point. So there's 3 parts. So I'm going to begin to show you how to use the calculator, because the calculator can write the equation of a line. It can give you all parts. And so I'm going to start showing you how to use it. I think it shows you in the text, but I'm going to show you how to do that here. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go to stat. Stat is right next to this left arrow key. You're going to hit enter on edit, or you can just hit the number 1. And it brings you to the list. So just like a table, we want to find between the first and second point. So I'm only going to list the X values. So the -2 and the 0. So -2, enter. So it goes down to the next line, and then 0. So I've listed the 2 X values for the first and second point. And now I'm going to arrow to the right, and go to L2, this would be my y values. So the corresponding y value needs to be right next to the same x value. So next to -2 should be the number 3. So hit 3 and then enter. And then next to 0 should be 2. Now this is probably going to be a lot of work for you if you want to go through this, but I mean, you can just write it down and find the slope pretty easy. But I want you to have this tool as well. It just might be a way to check, or it might be something you can use later. If you want to write an equation or check your equation, this works. So you enter those 2 points, and then you're going to go stat again. This time we're going to arrow to the right to calculate. And then option number 4, linear regression. So it's going to give us an equation. So I'm just going to go down and hit 4. And here's the difference that you're seeing here. We write the slope intercept form as mx plus b. The calculator has it listed as ax plus b. So a is the slope and b is the y-intercept. Okay, it's the same thing except we have a different letter A instead of M. Okay, so when I hit enter, it shows me that form of an equation, and it shows me the slope is -0.5. Okay, so when I try to enter -0.5, it's saying, okay, that character is not accepted. It doesn't want a decimal, it wants it as a fraction. So if you do this in the calculator, what you want to do is type in that decimal number. So I'm going to type in to my calculator -0.5, and then I want this calculator to make it a fraction for me. So if you do math, and then this option number 1 says frac, which means I'm going to turn it to a fraction, and you hit enter twice, it changes it to -1/2. Now you can probably get there really fast just by doing this formula, but this is again just another tool that you can use to find slopes. So I'm going to do it again. So now it says find the slope between the second and third points. Okay, so here's how we do that. I'm going to go back to stat. I'm going to go to enter. Now I have information in here, I need to get rid of it. Arrow to the top where that list is highlighted, click clear, enter, and it gets rid of it. Go over to the first column, arrow up so it's highlighted, clear, and then hit enter. It erases it. So now I'm going to do the second and third point. So 0 and 5. Arrow over, do the y values, 2 and -4. Go to stat, arrow right to calc, option number 4, enter. We get -1.2. What is that as a fraction? -1.2 math, turn into a fraction, enter, and I get -6/5. All right, now determine whether the 3 points are collinear or not. Okay, so how do we know if they're collinear? Well, we check the slopes. If they are the same, if the slope of the first line, of the first 2 points and the second 2 points were the same, then these are collinear. Well, what we got the slope was -1/2 for the first 2 points, and then we got -6/5 for the second 2 points. These are not equal, so they do not lie on the same line.